Cool, it's recording now. So, just to fill people in on whoever might be watching this, I've actually been recording not recording, streaming for the past hour and a half. But the thing is that on this trading channel of YouTube, Gamblor, um, uh, when I started uh, to try to do a live stream, YouTube's like, "Oh, you want to do a live stream? Well, you just applied, so you got to wait 24 hours until you can." Uh, so I was like, "Oh, well, I'll try on my music channel." So that they actually did allow me on that one. Uh, so the problem is that, well, that channel's for music, not for trading. So I don't want to save my video there. Now, I had forgot to actually record the video for the first hour and a half until now. So I'm just recording the rest of that, and then I'll upload that to the Gambler channel. So yeah, I've been talking about lots of stuff, and I've just taken a few notes, and I guess I'll just go over them. So I'll just read what's in the journal and and elaborate on it if I need to. So Friday, 20th of February, 2026. I had 3 points to write, but I was about to sleep and thought I'd write them down when I wake up. Now I can only remember one of them. I remember the second one while on the phone to Mum, but I forgot again. Point 1. Printing out charts, looking at the profitable moves, and theorizing how the lead up to it could potentially help me predict that move. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting a lot of the time. Um, when I first started studying Albrook's Price Action Trends book, I did this kind of exercise on chart printouts, but I was trying to gauge how an entry on every single candle and what? How to win or lose on each of these. I don't know. This approach is more tedious and complex and even unrealistic because I wasn't actually. Fuck, I can't read my own damn handwriting. Because I won't be trading every single candle as something to profitably win from. Uh, Point 2. Freely drawing charts. And I've got a point about this after that I wrote some more notes on. Much like becoming articulate in a language by writing your thoughts and emotions, I believe that drawing my own charts in the language of price action, comprised of words, phrases, and grammar of candlestick patterns, pivot point, support, resistance, and I can't read that, other patterns that. Damn, my handwriting's horrible. That I may become more acquainted with the language and my personal understanding of price action. Now, what was that third point? Was it about going monk mode and just actually observing the charts without uh, entering trades or drawing on the chart with drawing tools, text, or indicators? Using the analogy of language again, this would be akin to being a better listener um, compared to always feeling like I have to give my input when I really should be giving the other person, allowing the other person to speak. In brackets, placing trades based on what I want to happen instead of letting the market tell me how to make money and become a better trader, end bracket. To contribute to my character and interpersonal relationships and understanding of both people and myself. So in other words, I'm someone who talks a lot, and when other people are talking, I always think about what I want to input to the conversation, but it's actually going to be better for me and the other person, and I'm going to develop my character more by actually listening to them instead of thinking I have something great to say and steering the conversation my way. And the same goes for the market, is that oftentimes I'm placing a trade and I'm like, hey, market, I want to have this conversation. Let's talk about my trade right now. And the market's like, actually, you know, that's not like even something that's even in context. Like, why are you trying to steer the conversation your way? That's You're not looking at the grander scheme of things. Okay. Next point. Copying this guy from the Discord and Al Brooks. So, dude from the Discord trades MNQ on 1 minute charts with a risk reward of $100 either way on 2 contracts. Brackets 50 per contract and bracket. I've decided to take this on board as it will allow me to get in greater understanding and perspective of his market analysis instead of potentially being stubborn and insisting on purely doing it my own way. Reading Al Brooks' series on price action with the knowledge that he trades ES minis on the 5 minute chart also inspires me to adopt these variables and adapt them into my own trading. On point number 2 about drawing charts, I can focus on one candle type or specific candle combination to draw and see how that may play out in context. In my charting graph book, I've already. Where the hell is this book? Found it. As I was saying, I've already drawn types of candle bodies, strat type candles 1, 2, and 3, and I'll do the 2 candle theory ones as well. And then here's the next dot point on drawing charts. The point I made earlier about imagining my own candlestick charts can be further augmented in several ways. 1, swing charts. 2, point and figure. 3, increasing the time frame. 4, decreasing the time frame. 5, copying a chart by hand. 6, price targets in graph form, open bracket, both within and exceeding price ranges, end bracket. And then last page of notes, exclamation mark icon to show this is an important note. Keep a chart of a higher time frame on your second monitor to determine longer term sentiment and directional bias. Sub bullet point. Experiment with judging sentiment and bias on different higher time frames. Try a session on the 1 hour and another session try the 4 hour or daily. So, yeah, even though I didn't actually do much analysis of the actual price action and stuff, I've come to some good ideas on what and how to improve just by being at the chart and not placing the damn trade. I've done a bit more effort on what and how to learn, what and how to improve, what and how to practice and exercise, and all that kind of stuff. Might even do another live stream. I don't know how I'd do that. I don't really have an apparatus to um, record my desk, but I was thinking one on all of this handwriting stuff and chart analysis. It'd be good if there were some people here, so I could have some dialogue. No dialogue yet, just monologue. Yeah, and as I said way earlier in the stream, is I really do have like no idea of how to actually judge the damn sentiment. You know what? I actually might do some of that now, of looking at the higher time frame. So I'm going to open on my other monitor. I'm not going to look at ES. I'm actually going to look at MNQ. Um, why is this not dragging to? Bugger. Can't drag it to the other monitor. Um, so in the other monitor, view MNQ, and I'm going to look at the. It's a bit too short term because it's just we're only in the first quarter of the hour, so it's looking bullish, bearish. But it's like, well, I can really tell that, right? That's pretty freaking obvious looking at this. So I'm going to look at the 4 hour. If I can find custom time. So it's 240. There we go, 4 hour. And I have to get rid of these bloody fill arrows. There we go. So on the 4 hour, oh, hang on a second. Okay, so the 4 hour began an hour ago, and it's showing it's bearish. And what is it in compared to the previous candle? It is within the range. So I think this is actually going to help me a lot. If I have that chart next to me on my other screen while I trade on the lower time frames, then I can judge this sentiment a lot better. So that past green candle went from like 2 to 6 p.m. Yeah, cool. I'm feeling a bit more smart and confident now. And from the start of the day, so about 2 a.m., we're like completely in the range of that first 4 hour block of this morning. The next block of 4 hours, it reached very close to the low of that open candle, and then the previous 4 hour candle, so 2 to 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, pretty much almost got to the top of the higher price range of that candle, and now it's going down again. Very interesting. It could be for also not just to look at the candle and its relationship to the previous ones, but by its behavior. It's like if I see a wick forming, it's like, oh, it's actually still kind of going in this other direction. For example, I swear I just thought I saw that there was a viewer, but then I looked and it said 0 viewers, so I don't know if I actually did see a viewer or not. How long have we been going for now? An hour and 50. Or in the recording, how long have I been recording? 15 minutes. Oh, it says one view. So someone did pop in. Damn, I wish they stayed and we actually talked. Here's another classic example of where I just would have been like, oh, well, it's gone down and it's like reached that low, which is like a support. Oh, that big green candle means it's going to go up. Which just goes to show like how little I know and how impulsive I am. So thank God that I'm doing this exercise. And what I realize now is like, even though I'm not exactly, or I might be, not consciously internalizing the price action, but it's probably working subconsciously, as I'm just seeing it play out and not actually placing the thing, skewing my bias and seeing how it actually plays out. Um, Other than that, of not consciously um, gauging the price action, is it's allowing myself to reflect on my weak points of understanding price action and what can be done about that. Now, I wonder how long I'm going to actually do this for. I did say today, well, I said it last night, was I was going to go monk mode today. Um, so I guess a monk wouldn't just meditate for an hour and a half. A serious monk would go much longer than that. You know what? I think I'm just gonna be quiet until I get a viewer. I'll write that if you, if any viewers come into this stream, please do say hello and let's chat about trading. There we go. So, yeah, we're gonna go monk mode and uh, now in Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, New York session starts at midnight, which sucks because New York is the most volatile and liquid and active time to to see the market moving. Um, but I'm I've been an insomniac most of my life because I was only diagnosed later in life that I've got pretty severe ADHD, um, and because of that, I've been like very much an insomniac a lot of the time. I've had so much trouble sleeping. Uh, but in the past few years, I've been improving my sleep little bit by little bit. Where like for most of my life, I'd be awake until like 5 in the morning. It was freaking horrible, and just like could not think clearly all the time. But now I'm treated for ADHD, and for the most part, I think I do go to sleep. Uh, Usually somewhere between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. So it's a pretty big improvement. And I really don't want to jeopardize my concentration, my focus, and my health, my mental and my physical health by staying up all late, all night, just staring at graphs and trying to make money. Um, it sounds like a cool thing to do. Like, yeah, some serious money could be made, but it's going to take a really bad effect on my health if I'm up all night. So tonight, I don't think I'm going to uh, keep the stream going into New York session. Now, as for more live commentary, I can look at the candle as it's forming and try to think of more things to say about it rather than just focusing on that one candle. Once again, it's like I would see, oh, this green candle is going good, even though it's mostly in a downtrend, it's mostly bearish. Usually I'd see that big green candle and think, oh yeah, we're gonna shoot up all the way here in just like a few minutes time. That is how impulsive I am. That is how short-sighted I am. Um, it's how assumptuous I am. So I think now what I'll do is I'll just look at whatever the current candle is and just meditate on it. See if it is going up or down. Look at it in the grander context of all of this. Might even look at the other chart on my other screen that shows. Uh, I'll put on the hourly instead of the 4 hour and use that as like a bit of a reference. Think, okay, it's doing this. And I'll have to open the YouTube chat window, put it on the side of my screen. There we go. Just so I can see both the chart and the chat in case someone comes in here. Cool. Just meditating. Just meditating. Just kind of allowing the candles to um, allowing yourself to like internalize this image. I see this chart and it's like someone telling a story. It's like they started the story a while ago and then it did all of this stuff and the story is playing out and then they are continuing to tell the story and I am continuing to listen. Oh, there's so much freaking psychological stuff that I'm going to have to change about myself. It's kind of frustrating, to be honest. I'm a very habitual person. I've got lots of bad habits. I'm very stubborn. I'm very arrogant. And if I'm going to learn to stop projecting what I want the market to do, I'm going to really have to change the way that I think and behave. And that creates tension in my emotions. I feel it's like it's an insult to my ego. It's a threat to my ego, and it feels like it's going to be difficult and painful to address my ego, to change it. There's a lot of things in my life that I try to do that with, like just with music and, just normal prayer and meditation. Um, but this looks like it's going to be a really big one because uh, my career actually depends on it because I'm 35 years old, turning 36 in another 4 or 5 months. And like I said before, I've got ADHD, which made school very difficult and stressful for me. I've tried uni a few times and I've flunked. And as it has been the past few years, is I still have trouble to find work, still have trouble keeping work, which is usually not my fault, other than taking on too much work. Like when I was teaching music, every time I teach music at the studio, I always find myself getting far too stressed out and then panicking and leaving. Um, and I do that in a very toxic manner where I won't even tell my boss that I'm not rocking up. I'll just not rock up and not tell him because I feel so freaking guilty and ashamed of what I'm doing. And yeah, so those are instances where it kind of is my fault. Even if like the stress, me getting stressed out and not wanting to work, I could deal with it in a healthy manner. But there's other times, like I had a job as a kitchen hand, and my employer, he just let me go because he was expecting some kind of government-funded subsidy for employing me because I'm on a job seeker plan that my government provides, and sometimes they provide a subsidy to employers who will employ people who are long-term unemployed, therefore getting unemployed people or getting employers incentive to employ people who are struggling to get employed. So he didn't get that subsidy, and he said in a text message, "Oh, sorry, we won't be needing you. You didn't fit the criteria of something," and he was very unclear about what was going on. And then I told my employment service providers, and they're like, "Oh, that's not your fault. That's actually him. He was like threatening us and yelling at us over the phone because he was expecting a wage subsidy, and he didn't get it. So it's not that you were a bad employee, and I know I wasn't because like um, there'd been a string of kitchen hands before me that also didn't last long, uh, who were just like slow as a bloody snail trying to clean the kitchen after the kitchen hours were done. And because I've got experience in cleaning and cleaning kitchens, I could just like get into hyper focus and just get it all done spick and span and like perfect. Um, so yeah, the point is that I have trouble getting work, staying in work, and not only was school difficult for me as someone who hadn't had the diagnosis and treatment of ADHD, even now that I am treated for ADHD, I've tried uni a few times and still couldn't handle that. So it's like, well, how the hell am I, as a 35-year-old, going to get anything that's actually going to like maybe, hopefully, one day support like a wife and kids and get a house? It's like it's just not going to happen. Um, so fortunately, there's a lot of potential in this, and I don't need any bloody qualifications. So I'm just going to keep on working at it. And next new hourly candle has happened. I didn't even notice, actually. It's been up for the past half hour. And it has a big wick at the bottom. And we could probably just easily judge this. It's like, well, obviously, it's got this freaking wick and body and stuff. Um, and yeah, the body was like up here, but now it's down here. So I don't know how much the 1 hour chart would really show me on an individual candle, but seeing the previous hours, because on this chart right now, like what we have here, we've got like 7:30 going back to 5:30. This is only 2.5 hours worth of information. Where if I'm looking at the hourly chart, um, even just looking at the past 5 candles is giving me uh, twice as much information, abbreviated, but it gives me more context because we can't see on the screen here about 2 hours, 3 hours ago, is that there was quite an uptrend, which is probably here to here or something like that. Um, yeah, now it's a bearish candle. Now it's uh, going below its open. Might have to take a break soon. The market is definitely more active now that we've entered London session half an hour ago. But I'm getting a bit tired. Can't work too hard. I don't really know what else I'll do though. We just keep on like streaming, meditating on the chart until oh, what's this? Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Oh, that's fine. Um, yeah, I think just like keep on doing this until I get really exhausted or something. But once again, I'm just trying to feel this candle. It's like what Bruce Lee said in I forget what movie it was. Definitely wasn't The Big Boss. It wasn't Game of Death. I think it might have been Way of the Dragon. I don't even remember the other movies he did. Um, but he said to his student in that movie, "Don't think, feel." And sometimes that's what you got to do um, to really get an understanding of something is to allow yourself to feel it. And how Bruce Lee said it was, it's like a finger pointing to the moon, and his student looks at Bruce Lee's finger, and then Bruce Lee slaps him on the head and says, "Don't concentrate on the finger, or you will miss all that heavenly glory." Which is kind of fitting to uh, yeah, what I'm trying to do here uh, is rather than getting into all of this technical analysis videos on YouTube and trading strategies, because I've tried to do that and I just end up getting screwed over. Um, Indicators and drawings, they usually just give me uh, analysis paralysis. But really, what I need to do is just see the heavenly glory of the charts, just allow them to tell me the story and see how I feel about it. And this is helpful where, before I'd say like, oh, I'd love to go long or I'd love to go short there. And in those moments, it's obscuring the practice of just observing and feeling the chart. See, as this green candle forms, usually I would feel great. I'd go like confident, go long. I've said that like 100 times in this stream video already. But whether it goes long or not is not important. What is important is what is this candle in the long term, in the short term. What does it mean with every candle before it and all the ones after it? So when I see a big green candle like that, I don't have to feel this impulse of go long. I just actually have to feel the candle. Because that green candle, it still actually could be saying go short. It could be a pullback. It could be saying we're going to range, or it could be a sign of a bullish trend. Then how bullish do we know it is without looking at all of the other candles in context? So what I think now is instead of just focusing on how that one candle makes me feel, but how does it all make me feel? So what I was kind of concentrating on before with the formation of that previous candle is I'm seeing it going up and down and turning red and green, and allowing that to influence me emotionally. But now I'm thinking, actually, let all of this and all of its detail, pretty much like a fine piece of art, allow that to speak to my emotions and to speak to my conscience. Where previously I maybe looking at this grand thing, I would have said, okay, go short because it looks like from here to here, mostly short and big, long downswings. But rather than seeing that and just thinking go short, it's like read the room, you know. I've got so much to freaking work on with my psychology. It's a real pain. I really don't want this to be a painful process. I just would love if I could just joyfully do all of this and not have to uh, rewire my entire freaking ego, you know? Does it really have to be a painful process, though? If I just joyfully do the work, maybe I don't have to destroy my ego, but just actually fill up those empty parts of my ego that I usually use garbage to fill up, and that way I can refine my character, my way of thinking, to be better, and maybe it will be a joyful process. Maybe I should just have that outlook of, yes, it is a joyful process. Don't worry about saying you're a bad person. Uh, you have to be better. You have to destroy that part of you that is bad. Maybe I shouldn't look at it from that angle. Maybe I should look at it from the angle of um, you're doing all that you can to. It's like those bad parts of my character and my personality. It's not like they're actually bad, they're just the absence of good. So I don't need to destroy this absence of good. What I need to do is fill it with goodness. And, likening this to trading and trading psychology is, um, it's almost like I don't have bad trading habits. It's just that I don't have good ones. So I need to fill up those empty spots that don't have good habits and good understanding with good ones. And that won't feel like it's destroying me. It'll actually feel like it is making me feel more whole, and goes for every other area of my life. I've been very self-conscious, thinking like I have all these bad things about me, um, but it's actually just an absence of good. Get very philosophical here. That's another thing. Is like I've mentioned, I think of things linguistically, but I also think things philosophically, because uh, when you're a depressed recluse um, in your teen years, your only friend is a bully. Um, People think you're a failure because you're not getting any work done. Um, what you can really do is try and philosophize. Uh, how can you bear this difficulty and opposition in your life? So you have to, and just because I did it a lot doesn't mean I'm freaking Buddha. It doesn't mean that I achieved some kind of enlightenment where I'm always emotionally in control. Um, but I had found out that, yeah, there are there is a practice you can make out of philosophizing, and you can get some gain out of it. And it's not like I was, you know, actually thinking, time to meditate and philosophize on this. It's more like just what people do when they're uh when things are tough, and they don't have like this sense of entitlement. For example, I was out skateboarding one time and I met this kid who was only 17, and he'd been on drugs for most of his youth because his parents were junkies and they got him into it. So he's like, screw this, I'm getting out of this household. Uh, and he didn't know what he was going to do. It's like, where the hell is he going to sleep and that kind of stuff? So he's just been couch surfing for the past few years. He's only like just starting to look into getting to work. He still drinks alcohol and smokes stuff he's not supposed to be smoking. But for the most part, he's like a really strong-willed person, and he knows that he's severely depressed. Um, but he's a really strong person, and yeah, that's what I kind of mean. It's like I didn't have it as bad as him or many other people do. Um, but if you're not a freaking crybaby with a high sense of entitlement, when you face adversity, you tend to think, "How can I deal with it?" rather than, "Oh, the whole world's against me, and there's nothing I can do about it." Um, if there's nothing you can do about it, you can at least change your thinking, pretty much. If you're going to change your thinking, it will just make it that much more bearable, even if it's something freaking horrible. That's what bloody psychotherapy is all about. People who go through uh, severe trauma, getting PTSD and CPTSD and other trauma-related mental illnesses. The psychotherapy is all about not just changing your environment to be in a less traumatic situation, but how can you actually change your thinking so this uh, trauma is more bearable and you have a greater understanding of yourself so you don't repeat this trauma either for yourself or for others. So yeah, there's a lot to be gained by changing your thinking, and you can do a lot of it and still not be a saint. Um, but it will get you a lot further than if you just complain about the world. You know, I easily could have been making all these losses in trading and go, it's not for me, and just give up. Or I could have made the losses and not do any change in my thinking, just keep on going, keep on making losses, buy evaluations, fail those evaluations, and just be a gambler. But what I think I'm doing is part of what sets me apart, uh, which is thinking, reflecting, analyzing, refining. So how else does this chart make me think and feel? And I'm drawing some attention to here because it's the most recent part, and it's just very choppy, consolidated, slightly to the upside. I guess I can like look at the different elements of it. It's like the big downswing here, which came from a big upswing, which had a bit of a downswing there. I just kind of see this, and it's like I don't even know if this is like proper market, conventional market analysis or anything, but I just see down, 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 down. I see like it's like a wave of these downswings. It's just something that my eyes are drawn to. So I'm just kind of like familiarizing myself with this shape on the screen, these patterns and shapes. Um, Once again, it's just like it's almost like I'm allowing this, what is in front of my eyes, to kind of like imprint itself onto my conscience and allowing the rest of my conscious being um, to resonate with it. We're almost an hour into London now, and I'm glad that I haven't placed a single trade. I've stuck with what I was doing and going monk mode. So much into monk mode that I did start talking about philosophy like a monk would. Be proud of myself. And once again, talking about like previous conceptions of how I would view the chart. It's like I would see this high here, I would see this here, and I would try and think, is this support? Is it going to break out? Is it going to reverse? But you know what? I'm not actually even going to think about those things. I'm not thinking, does it consolidate? Does it go up? Does it go down? I'm more interested, what is it doing? I don't have to think it. These scenarios, is it this, that? I just have to see it for what it is. All of those things are the finger pointing to the moon. But if I look at all those things, I'm concentrating on the finger, not the moon. So let's just gaze at the moon's heavenly glory as it shines down upon us from the dark sky. We see it with we can see it. We can see the moon, and not just the moon, but its heavenly glory. Well, its place in the sky. If you look at the moon one day, it looks different the next day based on its position, the Earth's position, its rotation, the Earth's rotation, all of the other stars in the sky, uh, all of that. All of that contributes to seeing the moon's heavenly glory. We don't just look at the moon and bask in what it looks like on its own. The grand picture. What do the heavens look like? What does the moon look like when you're out in the country? So even your own position and the environment you're in can change what it looks like. Because if you live in a city like me and you look at the night sky, you can see barely any stars because there's so much uh, air and light pollution. There's like so much smog, and there's almost so much other light from the city that all the stars in the sky are obscured. But if you go into the countryside where there's less of these kind of pollution in the sky, you can see you can see the Milky Way. Like you can see just like this. You see all these stars, but you see like there's this channel um of stars, which is a limb of the Milky Way. You actually see our galaxy, and then if you look at the moon in this context, um, you can see all of this. It's like I love freckles. I think girls with freckles are so freaking gorgeous. It's like a girl with freckles. Let's say like there's two versions of her, one with and one without the freckles. It's like she's still who she is. She's the exact same person. She's her personality, all of her thoughts and experiences, the same person. And whether you prefer looking at women's beauty with or without freckles, that's not important. What matters is that um, how you perceive that woman with or without freckles, uh, whether you like it or not, or whether you're indifferent, it's part of the context in um, how you see her, and whether it changes your opinion of her um, for one way or another. Once again, that's totally subjective. But all of these are things to consider. And yeah, just like freckles on a woman's face, so are the stars in the sky. Um, how you might feel about the moon um, without those freckles around it, the stars, or with them. It could be other things, because if we're looking at the moon in its heavenly glory, then we're also thinking about what's our place, because planet Earth is in the heavens too. Outer space is outer space, but we're actually still in space. We're just not in outer space. Um, so if we're in space, if we're in the heavens, then we're a part of it. And let's say like you're on a friend's balcony and they live in the heart of the city. They're 30 floors up. So there's all of that pollution that obscures the night sky. But it's a nice, warm summer evening. You're listening to like some chill Japanese city pop from the 1980s. Um, you're drinking whatever you're drinking, something refreshing. Maybe it's orange juice, whatever. And all of that would like make you feel a different way as you gaze at the moon and admire its beauty. So there's so many ways to feel and be affected uh, by what the chart looks like at any given time. Not just the chart on its own, but the time of day. Not even just the time of day, how it affects the price action, but the time of day according to your own circadian rhythms. Time of day, whether, for example, it's just about 8 p.m. here in Melbourne, and as I look outside my window, I see we're just on the brim of the sun going down. There's still quite a bit of daylight, but it's starting to darken. Now, how does that affect how I feel this given time? You know what? Right now, I'm actually dehydrated. Oh, a bottle of water next to me. How convenient. How does all of this external, um, does all of this external, not directly market related stuff um, contribute to my perception of the market? I don't know who is actually going to watch this, but if it isn't clear, all of this, not all of it, but a lot of this philosophizing, it is in regards to looking at this chart. Like this entire time, when I've been talking about all of this seemingly non-market related stuff, all of this poetry and philosophy and all of this stuff that has nothing to do with uh, conventional technical analysis and price action. All of these are my honest, personal uh, thoughts of when I'm looking at this chart. What is when I look at this chart and I allow it to speak to me, to allow it to influence my conscience, how I feel, and my mind, even as I'm speaking right now, I'm just allowing the same thing. I'm just looking at the chart and thinking, what does it inspire in me? Just like looking at the moon is, you could be reading all these books on astronomy. You could be, uh, studying the moon from an astronomical perspective. But there's so much more you can actually get from gazing at the moon just by allowing yourself to be enamored by its beauty. which is funny because when it comes to beauty, beauty can be deceptive. Um, Beauty can be deceptive. Beauty can if you allow yourself to be swayed by beauty, uh, it can be a good thing because oftentimes there are things that are beautiful, and they're beautiful because they are good. But not all things that are beautiful are good on the basis just because they appear beautiful. Something can be very deceptive. You could like meet a really hot, smoking, gorgeous woman, and she's absolutely toxic, and you keep on telling yourself, "Yeah, man, I bagged the right one because she is smoking," and really, she's actually just like ruining your life. She's like bringing you down, and you're just like living in this life of denial because you are allowing yourself to be betrayed by just an image. Um, but on the other hand, uh, if you exercise caution in you uh, how you allow yourself to react to beauty, and the same goes with any other transcendental quality. Actually, not just beauty, but also uh, truth and morality. Something just because. Okay, I think I'm getting a bit too deep into it. I want to talk about the moon again. So, there are people who. This is the way the word lunatic comes from. They say that in the old days, someone who was obsessed with the moon uh, was a lunatic. And there's all these theories, which I actually don't know if they're factual or not. I know there's a lot of anecdotes about it, saying like, oh, well, dogs howl at the full moon, or hospitals are busiest and most chaotic when it's a full moon. They have more admissions into the emergency centre. And whether this is like a psychosomatic thing, like lunatics going in there are actually just uh, making themselves believe they're crazy, because I think anyone with good judgment can actually say that horoscopes are pseudoscientific. Like, horoscopes are not scientific. All scientific evidence goes to show that horoscopes are complete nonsense. Uh, so somebody going into the hospital on a full moon and they're going crazy, is it actually the moon, or is it because they're superstitious? And it's just the hospitals get so busy and chaotic because all of these people going in are actually the kind of superstitious people who have that idea. When it's a full moon, they're going to be a lot more erratic and chaotic, one way or another. Um, whether the full moon, does affect us, and there's that other anecdote. It's like, oh well, it affects the tides, and we're 80% water. Um, if it affects the tides, well, I would assume that it changes like the air pressure or something. I've got no idea. What's the point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make is you can be enamored by beauty, but don't be unreasonably swayed by it just because it's beautiful. Like that candle. To me, that candle is a very beautiful thing. And in the past, I would have been very enamored and swayed. I would have just said, "Go long. You're into a new high right now. You've been all these highs, great thing. Time to go along." But what I'm doing right now is I'm allowing myself to be enamored by its beauty. I'm not allowing myself to be swayed by it. Rather, I have to allow it be what it is and just bask in its beauty. And whether it turns way one way or another, um, it's all a beautiful thing. I think that's something about people too. Uh, People are a great example of beauty and imperfection. Beauty and imperfection. The Japanese, they call it wabi-sabi, and it's actually like a thing that's like very central to some components of Japanese culture. For example, tea ceremonies. Um, Tea ceremonies are not just like a thing that they do in rural areas. It's actually like a normal thing. When I went to Japan in 2006, um, we went to a high school in Osaka, which is like the second most populous capital. It's like right in the city, this school, and they had like various activities going on after the school. Uh, in Japan, they have clubs after school. Like every school has this, and you really should, if you're a Japanese student, be a part of one of these clubs, whether it's the judo club, origami club, the reading club, and one of them is the tea ceremony club. And part of that tea ceremony is, of course, you go around sharing this cup of tea, but the cup used is usually one that is malformed. And this goes with the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, which to us English speakers we would basically express as beauty in imperfection. Going back to girls with freckles, um, when I was younger, and I'm still like this actually, but when I was younger, everyone else was like glasses, freckles, braces, red hair. Those are ugly girl things. Now I always thought they were freaking gorgeous, and I still do. Um, and I prefer girls to not wear makeup. Um, I think makeup makes them look not real. And it's artificial, and it's this false idea of beauty. Where when I see like a girl with makeup and like, let's say she's got like a mole or something, or um, just things not conventionally what we think in our modern society, all these ideas of beauty. I think that it's actually just a big facade, and there's so much real beauty in imperfection. And a lot of time, those imperfections, they're really what make you what you are. And when you see them as uh, beautiful character traits, uh, you become a person who is comfortable within their own skin and can perform better in the world around them, as opposed to being somebody who has to fit in and be what everyone expects them to be. If you living your life like that, you'll get burned out and you'll feel like a failure, or you might even just be like completely deceived. Sorry, I didn't mean failure, I meant fake. You'll feel like a fake, or you could be completely deceived and not even know that you're fake. And then you're watching everyone else around the world either be fake or be real and just live in a delusion. Uh, so, what I want to do is see things for what they are, see me for who they are. And once again, this goes back to the chart. What's the chart telling me? I know that kind of sounds like crystal ball gazing, and I don't mean it in that way. I don't think that the chart is actually speaking to me like a schizophrenic. No offense to schizophrenic people, um, but I want to assure you that I don't think that the chart is actually giving me like telepathic messages. I mean this in a poetic sense. What is it telling me in a poetic sense as uh, what information is it providing and what can I interpret from this information uh, in my personal understanding? I'm starting to see it from a different perspective now. I'm actually just like looking across all these candles, and now it really feels like I'm getting a bit more zoned in, like a veil is lifted, like there's less obscurity, and I can see the nuances of all of these twists and turns and wicks and pivot points. They're all like stars in the night sky. They're all like freckles on a cute redhead girl's cheeks. Um, they're like cursive writing, um, but legible, not like my cursive writing. It's the story I can interpret from it. What I can see is from about here, I see a story of triumph. And once again, I'm not being a bloody horoscope person, okay? I'm not reading this, some people say this is reading tea leaves. Now, I'm not reading this in the story of like, oh, this is a story of triumph. I'm actually like reading some story about some person who triumphed. Um, it's fiction. It's complete fiction. Um, so in this fictional story, I see triumph with a little bit of I mean, it's really triumphant now. It's like just before here. It's like here is where like the guy's like, yes, I'm doing it. This part is like the final part of the story before he jumps into it. It's like, oh, I've worked so hard, I've worked so hard, and then oh no, this tragedy happens, but yeah, I'm doing it. Like that's the story I can interpret here. And before all that, it's like, yeah, he was doing it really well here. He's like oh man, real troublesome. And like, yeah, I'm getting my way back in there. And oh, damn it, now I'm back to square one. But he's like there and he tries really, really hard. And he tries really hard. He goes up, he's doing well, he's doing better than he was here. And it's like, I just can't do it. And he's like, no, get back up, try again, and we are winning. Um, that's like the story. It's almost a detailed story. But it's one way that I can just make sense of the charts. And I've made a start on it. It's good. You know, wonder if anyone's chatting on Discord. Oh, how long have I been streaming for? I've been streaming for almost 3 hours now. It's a good session. How long have I been recording? 1 hour, 16 minutes. I wonder how much longer I can keep this up. I'm gonna have to take a break eventually, and there's all of that homework that I want to do in analyzing and writing charts and stuff. But it is important to take breaks. Oh, oh, sorry, it disconnected for a bit. That was weird. I don't know if you heard that, but that was my back cracking. Ah, oh, that's good. It's like picking at the knots in my back. I don't know if I mentioned this at the start of the stream or anything, but I've done a bit of martial arts practice in my youth, and I wanted to start training again and training like knife defense stuff. So, uh, did a pretty good job at this. I actually whittled. This is my first time whittling uh, a wooden knife, and it's blunt. You can't actually cut anybody, and you'd have to ram it really hard to actually like uh, puncture flesh with it. So it's quite blunt. Um, but what I found is I've got these knots in my back from like slouching, and a lot of guitarists have bad spots in their back because we often sit uneven. One shoulder is higher than the other, and it screws up our posture. But I found that this dummy knife works really good for massaging those really troublesome spots in my back. So like the one behind my right shoulder blade, I can use my left hand to hold this knife, this wooden knife, and just like dig it in there and move it around, and it brings so much relief. Definitely recommend. I should probably give myself a time limit of how much longer I'm going to do this, not just not just like until I get tired, but actually certain times. So it's 22 past 8 p.m. here. Maybe I'll cut it off at 9 p.m. I don't know what I'll do in the meantime though, because totally uh, going through that ADHD hyper focus that people talk about, and this is like all I want to do until I'm successful and profitable. It's getting in the way of needing to sleep and everything. I even forgot to eat today, which is not an uncommon thing for me. But yeah, I did forget to eat. Don't know why I clicked on that. Maybe it's because I felt like I needed to do something. Probably just work on my homework once I'm done. Just go over my notes, do all the chart analysis and chart drawing. And I'll probably start doing this stuff more during the day, especially not actually placing any trades up until London Open. Because lately I wake up and I try to trade, and it'll either be like Sydney and or Tokyo session, and the market isn't as active. It's not moving as much, uh, and I trade and I lose. But I think I'll do like my actual trading at London. And while I've got all the free time in the world as someone who's unemployed and stuff, if I'm not doing the handwriting exercise, then I will just be watching the charts as I do now. I might even stream it again and give my weird, non-conventional, unconventional commentary. Might call it at 8:30 actually, so we got another 4 minutes. I'll stop the stream and then I will continue to upload um, the almost 3 hours worth of recording onto my Gambler channel. Actually, might even start to take some trades at 8:30. I mean, what is this? This is how long? Yeah, almost 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours of streaming and not placing a single trade. So I have definitely proven to myself that I have some self-control when I tell myself, uh, look at the chart, uh, actually do some thinking, actually observe and feel it out, and don't place a single trade. Tell you what, though, I know as soon as it turns 8:30, I'm going long. I'll probably do that on ES as well. Just open my other window, the other computer, and yeah, that hourly candle looks great on MNQ. Let's open the 5 minute on ES. So to me, what this looks like is a sell off into the next half hour. Then I think in the next half hour, they want to start buying again. That's just my idea at the moment. It's what I'm going to go for, and I'm going to see the results. We've got another 40 seconds left. 20. I'm going to do a countdown. Me and all the 0 people in the live stream. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go long. And going long in ES as well. And I'll show the positions again, so then we can see how both of them are performing. So we can see MNQ here is in -7, ES is at 1250. Both of them have a $100 take profit and stop loss either side. And we're just going to see how that plays. And I think hopefully it doesn't take too long for it to play out, because I would like to stop the stream. Hopefully, if it finishes soon enough, then I can yeah, finally take a break after these 3+ hours. Is that candle not doing anything, or is my feed frozen? Oh, okay, so it looks like my connection is, yeah, it was stuffing up a bit. Oh my gosh, what the hell is happening here? Trader just keeps on mucking up like this. There we go. Because every now and then Trader does not show the bloody chart information. Um, just like TradingView is like, it's so feature packed, but it's actually missing a few things that Tradeovate has that are much easier to access. And so I thought I'd go onto Tradeovate instead. But I am considering going back to TradingView. one thing about doing it through TradingView is 5 second delay, which is not too bad. I think we might lose this trade on ES. There we go, just lost it. See, how the hell was I freaking supposed to see that happening? I sure do have a lot to learn. Might place another on ES once I see that there's like another bullish 5 minute candle, which is happening in another like 2 minutes. The next candle looks okay. Maybe I should be taking uh, the trades in opposite directions. So now that I think about what people say about buy low, sell high, then you've got those guys like Tom Hogard who say buy high, sell higher. It's like, well, I did buy high on ES, I got freaking stomped out. Um, Something worth just try is actually when the chart is going freaking down, when I think it's, yeah, going down, then I buy. Here it was high. It didn't start getting high again. Here, like here's when it was last up there. That's at 6:25 p.m. It didn't even get there for another hour and 10 minutes. It did go pretty freaking far down, like back to these previous lows. So maybe I do need to inverse um, my habits of when I would actually long or short, instead of trying to go long when I see signs of lots of strength and we're all time high, it's just going to go higher. Maybe I really should, when it's low, when it's really gone down, buy it, and when it's really gone up, maybe I should be selling it. That next uh, minute happening on the next 5 minutes on ES, and I'm going to short it. Even though usually I'd be like, oh, this is a pullback, it's just going to go back up again. I don't want to do it that way at the moment. I want to do it in this way that buy low, sell high. See, I thought it was just like this stupid thing that people say, but now it might actually make a bit more sense to me. See, here in ES, it's actually getting there. It was a good idea to sell. And I'm gonna, I'm actually gonna cut this. I'm gonna actually sell it now on MNQ as well. Yeah, almost getting there with the S. Getting tired now. I think I'm going to end the stream and end the recording. How do I do this? Um, here's the end stream button. Right. See you later. And I'm going to stop this recording to 1.5 hours.